So here we go. I have two hands here. The top left is the Sunday Million. The bottom left is the $5 rebuy. And the two tables on the right are from this Fab Poker site that I was talking about. The top right tournament is the 50K guarantee on Sundays, which is a 215 buy-in. And the bottom right is a 4K guarantee, which is, I believe, a tournament that starts around 5 o'clock. And it's I believe it's a $50 buy-in. It could be 30, but I honestly can't remember. So I have Ace-Jack on both tables, and Ace-Jack has different values at different stages of tournaments. You can see, and this is really actually good for beginners, even though it's a Sunday Million. A lot of beginners might not necessarily play the Sunday Million. But on the top left, I have Ace-Jack suited on the button, and it's basically, I have 25 big blinds. And we're much deeper in the tournament, whereas on the bottom left, I have it in early position, basically early to middle position, more early position, I think, UTG +2, and I have 45 big blinds. And so when you're in late position with Ace-Jack suited, and when you're in early position with Ace-Jack offsuit, earlier in the tournament, they just have different values. So one of the other things I wanted to mention is you can see to my right, it hasn't folded him yet, but it will. You can see Mossified 84 is there, and really, once at this point where we see this tournament, I'm probably not folding this hand. So if the grinder raises, I'm probably going to jam into him. If Wet Rats jams, I'm definitely going to jam over top. And if Mossified 84 jams, I'm going to jam over top. If it's folded to me and I raise on the button, I'm not going to jam because it's too much. But I'm going to raise. If somebody 3-bets me in the blinds, I'm going to jam over top. The only way I'm not playing this hand is if, let's say, the grinder jams and the Mossified calls, or something happens where I raise, the small blind re-raises, and the big blind re-raises him. I would probably fold it then, just because it's probably not worth it. There's no way, there's nothing in their range that I'm going to be close to. So one of the other things I want to talk about too is, and I'm going to resume it because Mossified just, sorry to kill the suspense, but Mossified's going to end up jamming here. And so I want to talk about his jam and what we sort of perceive of, what we think about this jam. So Mossified's going to jam here, and one of the things that I've been working a lot with a coach about is to talk about sort of hand ranges. And one of the ways you sort of indicate hand ranges and stuff is by looking at a program called PokerStove. And if you don't know PokerStove, you should. But really what PokerStove will do is it will calculate your equity versus a certain range. And so Mossified's range here is pretty significant. I'm just going to let it go so you can see. I'm obviously going to jam over top. There's no value in calling here because I'm not going to fold. I can't put half my stack in and delay. So you can see what Mossified's jamming here with. King 5 offsuit. And so where does King 5's offsuit sit? Is this the best hand, like one of the better hands you would jam with? Is he jamming with anything? So if we wanted to, and it's a good exercise to do this. If you look at Mossified range, he has exactly 10 big blinds and he's in the cutoff. And I think his range is pretty much any king, although I think King 5 might be the lowest. And he's probably jamming every ace, which makes Ace-Jack pretty significant hand. He's going to jam King-Jack, he's going to jam Queen-Jack. He's probably jamming Jack-10 and probably Jack-9 suited and Jack-8 suited. So Ace-Jack is a very significant hand here because it's going to have all those aces crushed. It's going to have those jacks crushed, and if he has a hand like King 5, you're 60-40, but you're ahead. And so, the worst, the best case scenario for him, I think, is that he gets called by Ace-Jack, but this is probably the worst thing I'm going to find. I mean, don't kid me, if he has aces, he's going to jam there because he wants to make it look like he has, he's not going to open with aces there with 10 big blinds. He's going to jam his entire range. But of his weaker hands, to face King 5's probably, it's almost a little bit unfortunate. A hand even like King Queen, because it's got two middling cards a little bit more ahead. But King 5 is probably the best case scenario for him.